and Wahala podcast. For those of you tuning in for the first time, Wahala in Nigerian Pidgin English means issues and problems. So we go give you great gist and subject matter experts. I have great celebrities here today, two brothers. So they are usually the ones putting people on the hot seat, but today, not today, I go put them on the hot seat. So they are the hosts of Sabi Nation podcast, and it is also sponsored by Nigerians in Diaspora organization Nido Radio 24/7 online. So I have the hosts Femi and Maazi, two brothers on the line. So over to you, Femi, to first introduce yourself.
Yes. Femi Ajiboye. I co-host How Nasiam podcast with my brother Maazi, and also Sabi Nation on the Beat on Nido Radio. As apart from our podcast and everything, I am also a web developer. I work in IT as a web developer, and I'm a husband and father of three.
Nice. Thank you for being on our show. Over to you, Maazi.
My people are salute now. Now me they call Maazi. Hey, so hard though.
You're on the hot seat. They do it to other people, but now
Yes, it's your turn.
On the hot seat.
Yes, sir. Nothing spoiled. My name is Chika Alfred, aka Maazi, co-host with my brother Femi on How Nasiam podcast and Sabi Nation on the Beat. Married, no kids, and I work as an employment coach, and I Sabi find trouble. Well done.
If to say you know add that one, it's not complete.
Good trouble. We don't want bad trouble.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So I love the name Sabi Nation. So tell people what for people that know Sabi, they don't understand Pidgin English. For my other foreign listeners, different places over the world, what is Sabi? Do you understand? Explain to us what is that.
Yeah, Sabi simply means woke.
Yeah.
Or like something, So the name, the Sabi Nation, is just a nation or a group of people that are aware, that are woke, that deals with facts, removing all the noise of politics, religion, and all those things, just going with the facts and being logical. So that's Sabi is it just means woke, just to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we go stay woke for sure. And
Yep.
That brings me to my first question, because we just celebrated Nigerian Independence Day, October 1st. So Nigeria turned 61 years old. And of course, I think Nigerians back at home and here in the diaspora have made a lot of great accomplishments over these 6 decades. However, we still have a long way to go to improve our nation. Sabi Nation, I love the podcast. I've listened to it. You've had great, guests who are really, your platform is really giving a voice to the voiceless, highlighting issues and challenges that many people, that are oppressed and are going through it, that don't really have a voice. You talk on those type of topics. So, Nigeria is known as the giant of Africa, but we really have not stepped up to that name. So, over to both of you, I want to know how you think we can really redeem, our anointed name of the giant of Africa, being the most populated Black nation in the world, being the richest, Black nation, African on the continent. We have the richest Black billionaires from Aliko Dangote to, Femi Otedola to even the unknown billionaires. You understand? Our Baba fathers that don't chop money. They're not on Forbes list. They might be a rich farmer in the village, but you don't go see them. Do you understand? So talk about, how people can really stay woke, but give us like key strategies and solutions on how your platform brings together people to discuss this issue and how can we move Nigerian forward. You understand? So we should not just celebrate it once a year, and talk about it and say, it's our Independence Day. No, every single day we should be taking one step forward to improve it. So over to you, Steph.
Maazi.
Yeah.
Okay, make I start. Thank you, Dr. Tommy, for that question. There's a whole lot I believe that we could do to put Nigeria back on the map as the giant of Africa. The name that the country has always answered, if I could use that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to just talk about very simple things that I think the West or other developed countries are using to just make things a bit better for themselves. It's not rocket science. It's just basic, simple things that we as a nation, as a people, need to do. We all know that leadership is something that's a problem. And we all know that with good leadership, so many things in the country would definitely change. We, from my own perspective, I'm not looking for a perfect leader. I don't think there's anything like a perfect leader, but we need a leader who will be able to understand the nation, understand the people, understand what the nation needs, understand what sort of food to give to the nation. It's just the way we nourish our body. You eat what you think is good for you to get the necessary nutrients. You have your 5 a day vitamins and fruits and vegetables, and you do your exercises to keep fit. The country needs that. The country needs its 5 a day. The country needs its vitamins. It needs its exercises to make things better. So I will start by saying the basic things like fixing things like energy. If you need to fix the Nigerian economy, we need to start somewhere. Fix energy. Right, we have different forms of energy that could be harnessed in that country, right? And we have the manpower to be able to harness that part of the economy. So fix the energy. Let there be constant energy supply, like light and the rest of that. That would help people to be able to do business. That will bring foreign investors as well to say, you know what, we can do this sort of business even if it requires energy to do it, because that country has energy. Improve on security, for example. People will run away if security is bad. People would definitely run away. Nightlife in that country, I remember growing up, nightlife was something that we go out at night. Femi, remember, we go out at night, we don't feel scared coming back. We laugh loud on the street, going home without the fear of somebody coming to stop us to say, give me your phone, or give me your money or your life, and things like that. And we walk home. We grew up in Benin City. People that know Benin know how notorious that.
That's my home. That's my mother home.
People know how, when they call Benin, the first thing that comes to mind is notorious town. But you see, we grew up in that town, front and back, and we go out at night. We go out without the fear of anything happening to any of us. Another thing I will talk about is Nigeria has always been a consumer country. We've always imported things, and all we do is just chop, consume,
including toothpick.
Including toothpick. Including toothpick.
We have firewood and everything in the bush.
Yes,
exactly.
Oh, the one that saddened me the most was when I heard that we're importing Gary from Republic of Benin. I almost cried at that time.
So we need to improve on our production level. And not just improving on it, but also patronizing made in Nigerian product. I'll give you an example. About a few days ago, I read in the newspaper, some guy from Abia State opened made in Aba fashion place, like a boutique here in Portsmouth in England. And all he does is bring in all those Aba-made products, shoes, clothes, bags, everything, fashion, full fashion, complete fashion, down here as a bargain store. Here in the UK, we have bargain stores like Matalan and Primark and the rest of them. I'm sure you have the same in America. So imagine a bargain store, but all the products inside are all Aba-made products.
Hey!
So you can see that's an improvement.
Now Igbo man go think of that, correct?
Yes, no, before.
you know. And I'll also talk about education. That is Femi's strong area. I'll just say something little about it, and Femi will carry on from there, you know, to let us know. Education is key for everything. And when I say education, I don't mean going to university or going to some polytechnic or state university or something. Education could be formal or informal, but we need to be able to improve in our curriculum. We need to improve in the way we educate ourselves as a people in order for us to be able to move the country to the place where it needs to be. That's something we see here overseas in the West. They have different forms of education. You know, I've worked in organizations where you know, somebody's asking you, so what sort of degree do you have? And you say, oh, you have a master's or you have a BSc or PhD. Then when you say the same to them, they say, I just went to college and that's it. You know, yep. I did apprenticeship and that's it. You know, I know a kid who is 19-year-old who has never done apprenticeship, who just went, did his GCSE. He didn't really do well, but the boy could pieces and rebuild a computer. You know, these are, and you see, the government see that as an opportunity, and they tend to see this guy could be the next Bill Gates. This guy could be the next Steve Jobs. You know, so what are they doing? They are trying to look for something for him. I got him an apprenticeship somewhere, you know, within where we live, for him to do something, to put those skills to use. Then tomorrow, he builds some sort of big
company
computer, and people start thinking it's rocket science. No. They just harnessed the opportunity and tapped into that guy's talent, and that's why they are where they are today. So Femi, I'll leave the rest to you to continue.
You drop many gems of wisdom. You drop bombs. Okay, all right to you, Femi.
So July this year, I traveled to Nigeria. I spent 2 weeks in Nigeria, and I came back depressed because I have this deep love for my country, and what I saw did not really give me so much joy. It was sad because I went to Lagos. I visited Ibadan, and then I went to Benin, where we grew up. In fact, while I was in Benin, on my way back to Lagos, on my way back to Lagos, I was at the airport, and how would I say? Let me say the way we say they never take lights.
That's why I'm laughing. Femi sent me a video that night.
Never
take lights for airports. And
airports. Wait, slow down. So my can Sabi hear you? Do you understand?
Yeah.
You guys, this is what we're talking about. Stay vocal. He's not saying at his house. Do you understand? He said when he land airport.
Airport.
I was at the airport. Went out.
Okay. Out.
Okay.
Completely. I was waiting for my flight. I was waiting for,
a whole airport.
I was waiting for them to airport. And
okay,
I was shocked.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I was shocked. I was like, how many? Like, let's see how long this is going to take.
Hey.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then somebody came to announce. It was still dark. I was sitting down. It was dark. Everywhere was dark, and they were checking in people traveling to Port Harcourt. I was going back to Lagos, and everybody brought out their phone, and they were using the light on their phone to check their ticket, so they can board.
The flashlight.
Their body. The yes, yes. Airports. I texted Chika. I said, Maazi, I did airport too. Never don't take light too.
You guys were laughing, but it's like something and smiling at the same time. We're crying inside though.
Yes, so he didn't believe. He said, "Oh, nah, lie, it's impossible." Benin airport, because we grew up in Benin, and going to the airport was as if we are traveling abroad. It's the closest we are to traveling abroad. I said, Benin airport, no light. He said, nah, lie. I brought out my phone. I recorded everything, and the good thing was that while I was recording, they were announcing the next flight. He couldn't believe it, So I came back to the US depressed. I was like, oh my God. My wife asked, like, how was your journey? What's going on? you know what's going to happen? Are you going to do a business in Nigeria now and all that stuff? I was like, I'm never going back there.
Hey,
He was like,
don't say never, or don't say never.
so that was what I said. That was what I told my wife.
You were
She
so
was
disappointed.
surprised.
I know.
She was shocked. She was like, "You saying you're not going back to Nigeria? You know, that's something. What happened? You know?" So I told her everything. You know, when I was in Lagos, the things that I saw, the things that I expected. In fact, when I landed in Nigeria, seeing the airport, I was disappointed. Like, what is this? You know, but it was as if because July, that same week I went to Nigeria, I made it 10 years. I left the country.
Wow.
So I was visiting Nigeria after 10 years.
After 10 years.
Yeah, and it was as if it looked to me like things were better when I left than coming back to States, you know. So my wife was just saying, no, you know what, never say never. You don't know, things can change. But then I feel like that journey was just God taking me to Nigeria to kind of show me the next step of things to do, you know, because when I got back, everybody asking me how was Nigeria. I was like, forget, I beg. I don't want to talk about Nigeria. They vex, you know. That anger is not hate for the country. It's from a place of love that I'm so disappointed that I wish things were better than what it is right now. And then I started, you know, we continued on our podcast. We didn't even do any episode on my journey to Nigeria. I decided not to do it because I don't want to be the one to discourage people about my country, because people won't understand where I'm coming from. It's not a place of hate. It's a place of love. Like, I wish things could be better than what they are, but they are not. So, but then after that journey till now, like today, I started meeting people, you know, that keep talking about Nigeria, how, you know, Nigerians in diaspora are working together to change things in the country and all that. So I started meeting people and over again. And then we came across the Nido Radio inauguration and, you know, the Sabi Nation on the Beat program. You know, talking to people, it's as if my eyes got opened to another set of Nigeria, which is the Nigerians in diaspora, you know, working together, professionals working together to, you know, work with Nigerians in Nigeria to start, you know, changing things, you know. So that gave me a lot of hope, you know, it gave me a lot of hope. And since then, my mind has been open to, okay, so what can we do? Instead of complaining about all the problems and all the issues, how can we change things? Yeah. You know, one area that I've always loved is education.
Yes.
I always tell people Nigeria's greatest asset is not oil. Yeah. It's not. Nigeria's greatest asset is Nigerians. Yeah. Because look at it. You see a Nigerian in Nigeria, you know, just a regular Nigerian, not really having much going on for himself, travels abroad and things change. What changed? It's the same person. But there's a system out here that you know allows you to get to the top of your potentials. Yeah. That taps your potentials and helps you to, you know, get to the top of it. And that's what is missing in Nigeria. You know, Nigeria, the system in Nigeria is not really helping Nigerians to get to the top of their potentials. Yeah. Nigerians are creative. Nigerians are innovative. Nigerians are smart. Nigerians are intelligent. Nigerians are resilient.
Yes.
Nigerians are strong. They like look for all the best qualities you can have in humans. Yes. Go to Nigeria, you'll find it there. Yeah. It day the streets. It day everywhere. You know, but that is not, you know, being tapped. And why? Yeah. Because our education system is a mess. I'm not even talking about the formal education. Back in the days, we have people, this Igbo apprenticeship was one of those things. That's one of the best, actually. Yeah, the apprenticeship. That was how people transferred knowledge from generation to generation. Yeah, and in Benin too. In Benin, if you have heard of Igun Street in Benin, where they make the bronze, The bronze, those
yes.
bronze casting and sculptures that the British invaded Benin for,
And
they
stole
still
a lot
pass
of
it
them.
and sold a lot of them and stole it and brought it to their museum and all that stuff. They still have transfer the knowledge from family to family. Right then, Benin. If you go to Benin today, that's they have Igun Street and all those places, you know. So you see, they pass that thing from generation to generation through education. You understand? Those are the kind of education that I'm talking about. Not going to school, not WAEC,
No.
We need education in Nigeria. Education that will teach people how to do things. Education that we go far from, you know, the current education that we have, which was the kind of education that you learn to go and, you know, get employed. You make 2-1 first class and go get employment in a bank. No, education to start something so that you can employ people. You know, that's the kind of education that I'm talking about. Nigeria needs to put more money and more
investments and efforts.
Investments in educating Nigerians in Nigeria. After that, I'm talking another thing is empowerment. Empower Nigerians to do things. Just empower Nigerians to do things and watch them go. You know, look at social media. Maazi and I were discussing earlier today. Look at social media. Did we know who Mr. Macaroni was?
No.
Did we know who Taoma was? Did we know who Twice was?
No.
We didn't know them. But see, give Nigerians social media, you get Mr. Macaroni. You know, give Nigeria. If I told someone, I said, if Mark Zuckerberg was a Nigerian in Nigeria at the time Facebook started, we will not have Facebook today. We won't. Because truly,
somebody will kill that idea.
They will kill the idea. They will kill the idea.
You don't even have infrastructure in place. You're talking about
exactly
when the electricity will just cut off.
Oh, let me tell you a quick story. When I got out of when I graduated from University of Benin and went to Lagos to join my older brother, he started a company and I worked for him. He started a company to deliver for online e-commerce company to help people do shopping. Just like you have what's this go-kart they have today? There's an app that helps people to shop.
I think it's like that Nigerian Jumia, like that Jumia.
Yes, like Jumia. Yes, I'm talking of in 1999 and the year 2000. My brother created an e-commerce website. It's called netflow.com. You go on that site, you buy needle milk and all those things. Number one issue, there was no payment gateway in Nigeria at that time. That's number one.
Banking payment. Okay.
But yes. So then number two issue, not everybody had access to internet at that time.
Yes.
So my brother's target then was bank workers. You know, they are busy. So they just in the office, since they already have internet in the office, they order online and then we deliver to them. There was no payment gateway. So we take it to their office and they pay when we deliver what they want.
The product.
Yeah, the product. That went well for a while, but it couldn't work because there was no infrastructure to make such business work in Nigeria.
Yes.
So later, when I started seeing Jumia and those ones, I would just call my brother and say, bro, see your people. They don't do this. You know. So that's the problem. Even till today, the infrastructure in Nigeria does not empower the people to do the things that they should do. Take, for example, NEPA. You want to run a business. There's no light, no energy, no electricity, or no energy, like Maazi said earlier.
You need generator now.
You need generator. You need all those things. So it's just for me. I feel like if you educate Nigerians and if you provide infrastructure that will empower each Nigerian, just watch Nigeria go. You know, we think that getting Nigeria to become the giant of Africa might take 10 years, but with those two things, it will cut that time. by close to 60%.
I believe, Dr. Tommy, let me quickly come in here. I believe that if we put our foot down as a people and decide that we want to reclaim that title as Giant of Africa, 10 years is too much. I believe we can do it in 5.
5 is even too long. The next
Exactly.
election is 2023, so that gets me to my next point.
Yeah.
You know, they drop a lot of gems, and I don't want our audience, you know what I'm saying, to overlook some of them. You talked about one, renewable energy. We have a lot of sun in Africa. We have no
exactly.
Do you understand?
Yep.
I don't understand. We're so blessed. I think our problem is that God overblessed us. Do you understand? It's like when a nation is too blessed, like a child.
Yeah.
Too blessed. They're going to be spoiled. So God has given us everything: natural resources, manpower, human resources.
Yeah.
We just say mess up.
Yeah.
We know they say
Then you're talking about the security concerns. My whole family. When you guys talking about, Benin and Airport Road, I haven't been to Benin in years, probably almost a decade since my grandfather died. Why? Because number one, at least I had concern that, okay, if I did go, grandpa will have my back, we have escort, everything. Like there's nothing to look forward to. My mom said that when she was growing up, it's good to talk to the elders, because if we don't know where we're coming from, we don't know where they go. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Nigeria was not always like this. Do you understand?
No.
Yeah.
Number one, my parents came to America. My dad got a Nigerian federal government scholarship. Do you hear me, you guys? You're talking about the education system. That was one of the things that you're talking about. Education was one of the best. I had heart issues when I was in college.
Yeah.
And guess what? One of the top cardiologists at the University of Chicago Hospital that treated me, guess where he trained? He trained and did his residency in Jos, Plateau State. I said, what?
Yep.
He was like, my mom worked at the hospital, she was a respiratory therapist. He was like, mercy, I didn't know you're from Nigeria. Nigeria in my residency. I said, what do you mean? And he said, I said, this is the top card. He's not just a regular doctor, you guys.
Yeah.
He's the top heart doctor, pediatric. And he was like, he got his training in Jos Plateau. It was like a Catholic missionary, church that sponsored him and the Nigerian government. And he came and got training in Nigeria. And there was so many different exchange programs. So many foreigners came here.
Let me quickly add to what you said. Do you know that in the 80s, the entire Saudi royal family flew to Nigeria for treatment?
Okay.
All their medical treatment.
Okay.
Go and check. In the 80s.
Okay.
Not 80s is not so far away.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys live in America, right? I'm sure, Dr. Tommy, I'm sure you must have seen the news that was moving about social media and everywhere, talking about when we're talking about migrants or immigrants in that country, when we talk about education and innovation and things like that, you tend to hear the names of Nigerians in every sector,
everywhere.
Medicine, technology, you name it, even in the government, even putting down policies that make that country grow.
Yes.
Nigerians, at least with this government, with President Biden, I'm sure there are at least 2 or 3 Nigerians in his government.
There's even
working for him.
Yes.
You see what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So you can see that Nigerians in diaspora are excellent. There is something that I and Femi's other brother Ayo that we do on social media called Nigerians That Rock. This is a platform where we tend to celebrate Nigerians in diaspora that are doing great things, not people that are stealing our money. We mean people that are hardworking, people that are out there, making that name Nigeria proud. So we do that. And from my research since we started Nigerians That Rock, man, there were some people that I know I've been seeing, even in the entertainment industry, and I go, I've been seeing this guy, or I've been seeing this lady, but they are Nigerians. Full-blooded, papa, mama, not be saying a mix. Father,
where they chop
mother,
jollof fries and eba and
where they eat egusi, correct, fufu. Nigerians, even here in the UK, you see. So I believe, like I said 5 years, but you did correct me and say 5 years is even too far.
It's too long.
We can do it now. We can do it now.
Look, our target should be for the next election, especially as we are members of the Nigerian Diaspora Organization, NIDO.
Yeah.
We have different subject matter experts. We're supposed to be engaging leaders. Even though you're in the UK, you're in the US,
Yeah.
excuse me, you have people back at home. Do you understand? We should be the
True.
ones elected.
Yes.
Do you understand who is going to go and transform from at the senator level, at the House of Rep level, at the LGA level? Do you understand?
Yes.
Even
Yeah.
the ministers, you know, foreign affairs, relation. How are you? You got a minister of foreign affairs. He doesn't know anything about, you know, engaging the diaspora. Do you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
no, it should be our people. We should be the one dictating to them, because even the money that us in the diaspora generate and send back at home is a lot. Do you
It's
understand?
a whole lot. It's a whole lot.
But we don't collectively come together to use our voice. And I thank God for this NIDO radio platform. I thank God even for, you know, podcasters like you all to say, you know, let us talk up. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
you guys heard about Inside. Do you understand? We shut it down. When people
Yeah.
say that, do you understand? It's not possible. Me, I always say, look, with God, all things are possible. So if you tell me that, you know, we cannot revive Nigeria, I go tell you there's 100 ways where we can. In other countries
course.
like Malaysia and all, even Dubai, do you understand? They go to independence around the same time as us. In 1 years, you see, it's Nigerians that travel to Dubai that fund that nation's economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you.
Yes. Now.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yep.
So how
Yeah.
can we be diplomats, be entrepreneurs, excel, you know, against all oppression and prejudice? Just like you said some keywords that were resilient.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
not, again, we are not citizens. We are foreigners over here. So
Yeah.
we, of course, many foreigners are treated like second-class citizens. So when you see us in top-level position, we're not qualified. We're overqualified. You see Nigerians,
Over.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I gotta have plenty of degrees. I can come in and I have plenty of experience as a former diplomat, and that's why I had to go
Yeah.
back, you know, a couple of years ago and get my doctorate, because they will let you know,
Yeah.
oh, as a black girl, you can't get certain positions if you don't have certain titles. And I'm like, but the guy did as my director. He only has a bachelor's. I have a master's with almost 20 years of experience. They say yes, but you're a black woman, so you need a doctorate. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I said what?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I got to do what I got to do, and you have to go the extra mile. So we can do this in foreign lands. So if we have that enabling environment back at home, we cannot take no for an answer no more. And the reason why, whether you have children or not, you know, there's one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible says that a good father leaves an inheritance for his children's children. That's 3 generations.
Absolutely.
God
Three
is a
generations,
three-generational
yes.
God. When he
Yes.
talks to you, he said, I'm the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I am God. I have Jesus and I have Holy Spirit. So meaning that 3 generational, even in NIDO, we have 3 generational leaders within NIDO. You know, we have the senior babas. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
are like the mentors. Then we
Yeah.
have like the mid-level, you know, I would
Yeah.
consider us mid-level. Then you have like the junior ones, you know what I'm
Younger.
saying?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
that, and you know, and we have so much potential. It's not the days where, oh, you're looking at, you know, our Baba would say, go to school to be successful, you must be a doctor or lawyer. No.
Yeah.
It's like,
No.
no. You could be a good footballer. You could be a good basketball. Look at the Gianna's brothers.
Yeah.
Like 3 of them, they got NBA championships. They went from
Yeah.
Nigeria to Greece to America. Yo,
Yeah.
Yep.
if that is not like a legendary story, like what? You know, we have plenty, but the thing is, what I'm very confident about is that we have excellent subject matter experts, both in the public sector and the private sector. So we have Nigerian diplomats. I'm being a former diplomat, but I know a lot of Nigerian diplomats working behind the scenes in the U.S. government, in the British government, Canadian government, all over. I mean, we got Nigerians in Korea and China, and they know the language. Do you understand? Nigerians in Germany, everything. They know the background of how other foreign systems work, and they're thriving in a foreign nation. So how can we really, you know, use what we've learned and really become like the Joseph, the Nehemiah? This is the time to really go back and rebuild Africa. We can't depend on those leaders back at home. One of the things that you said is that, you know, we have poor leaders, poor systems. Why? Because they don't know. Do you understand? You cannot give a child a Bentley to drive and think he's not gonna wreck it. You know what I'm saying? He don't know how to drive a Bentley. He don't know how to handle a Bentley. You know what I'm saying? So you have to start him off slow. Okay, here, take a bicycle, take a keke. Do you understand? Then as he gets older, so it's like that's how I look at our leaders. Like, you know, they're pretty much set up for failure because they don't have the training, they don't have the capacity, and more importantly, they don't have the vision. They were not the God-ordained leaders. Do you understand? God just gave us the leaders that we deserve. He allowed, I would say, the enemy to mess up Nigeria and Africa because
I agree.
the good leaders, we really have not taken our place. We have to take it by force. There's a scripture that says the violent take it by force.
By force, yeah.
Look, the enemies, when they want to take positions and powers, do you understand? They take it by force.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Nigeria is the only place when I was living and working in Nigeria that I saw during election time. I have to be careful going around because I saw a dead. That was the first time I saw a dead body on the road. The head was cut off, just mutilated, and I was like, "Mommy, what is going on?" She was like, they use it for sacrifice." And my mom was so calm, like, "Yo," she was like, "It's election time."
Benin woman, she understand. She understand the parole as we talk for Benin.
Look at this Benin woman. She was just so calm. I'm like, "Mom, this is not normal." She said, "It's normal here. This is Nigeria. Anything can happen." We're laughing about it, but I'm like, no, people are like, "Oh, the government is not going to fix lights, so we get a generator." You that have money, you get a generator. You talked about security, no problem. I'm going to hire a gateman. I'm going to hire security, armed guards and escorts. Oh, I don't have water. Okay, I go get a borehole. We now become the solution for just we're not our brother's keeper. So just because we're doing it. And okay, you're driving to a house, you build a mansion, but you still don't have infrastructure. The road that you're driving your big Jeep, Bentley, still have potholes. Do you understand? That? Look, we have gone backwards. When she was going up, just like you said, Beanie was sick. They can sleep on the veranda outside, doors unlocked, your car unlocked. People were, they were not scared to go out and, even at night, go to the club, go to night vigil. They will walk by themselves. You understand? You do that. It not go happen. Do you understand?
See, growing up in Benin, I've gone to a store, like a small store. Like in Benin, we have big supermarkets, and then the store is just a lady that puts a few things together in our garage or in front of our house and like that. So I've gone to a small store, and the woman is inside our house. The store is open. I walked into the store. I want to buy like a packet of sugar, and I take packet of sugar and drop 30 kobo or 40 kobo and walk away.
Just
Benin
like
was it was done like that. She didn't need to build a cage around our products.
She didn't need to put barbed wires.
She didn't. No. There was no need.
In fact, let me even remind Femi. We stayed in her store. She will go to our house to go and bring something. She will tell us, "I bet make una help me just wait. We'll sit there, eat what we want to eat. Even take some. Maybe for example, there was a time we had buns after gym." After doing some exercise, we had buns and fish, fried fish with some bottles of soda. Jude, the woman, so I remember, left us and went to the house. Came back, we took some more. I was we collected 2 extra this, 2 extra that, and we'll pay you the money later. And we left.
You see.
There was that trust. There was
that trust, and it take a village. Everybody is all
but you see one thing to the point to what you were saying. And I've always known that about Nigerians. In Nigeria, Nigerians can conform. Nigerians can conform for Africa. See, they will increase fuel. They will increase fuel. We'll make noise. Oh, why they increase fuel now? They increase until 90 naira. For waiting now.
Femi, what are you talking about increase fuel? How about fuel scarcity?
That's what I'm saying. After fighting and everything, government will say, okay, we'll reduce, we'll go come out 10 naira. So we'll send out 18 naira. We'll say, okay, no problem. Nigerians can conform. Nigerians, there will be fuel scarcity. Nigerians will say, oh, fuel scarcity. I remember, Maazi, fuel scarcity, we were taking turn on the line. On the queue. Like somebody will sit in the car, and then once it's afternoon, mom will say, you don't take away Femi go find fuel. Go take over. Let him come home to eat. Go sit in the car. We will conform. No matter how hard the system gets, Nigerians will conform. Nigeria will always find a way to just conform. But I think that conformity is what has led Nigeria to where it is today.
True.
And I think it's time that Nigerians in diaspora begin to work with Nigerians in Nigeria. Because if we don't work together, it's all these things where we dey talk no go fit happen.
You know, go
You
work.
understand? We need to work because there's that disconnect. There's a big disconnect between Nigerians in diaspora and Nigerians in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think the only connection between Nigerians in diaspora and Nigerians in Nigeria is send money. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
That's it. That's all.
Mm.
But I think we need to get to a place where we begin to. I know it's a little bit difficult because the Nigerians in Nigeria, they always feel like, because you don't travel abroad, you will not be anything here yesterday. Because you don't travel abroad, you think say you feel can't they tell us waiting we don't know. I
Yeah.
beg, go sit down. You know that kind
Yeah.
of thing. So
Right.
we need to find a way so that we don't come off as being as trying to show that we know better than them. Because we really don't. Because if you live in Nigeria, there is something that as difficult and as tight as the system is, there is something that system does to Nigerians, such that when you go outside Nigeria, you just find yourself just excelling at things that will be difficult for a lot of people when you travel abroad becomes like waiting be this. It's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I first got to New York, we went somewhere, and I think I went somewhere with my wife or my brother-in-law, and we were at a restaurant, and then the next thing, pow, gunshot, and people started running. I just turned, and we continued eating, and they were like, so the two guys there, they were like, what happened? I was like, now today we know the year gone for me. You need to let them everywhere.
That terrorist bomb threat.
Yeah, so it's there's something that that system does to you that gives you that thing that when you go out, some things that are difficult for people are just easy for you. So we need to connect with Nigerians and begin to make that change. Election is coming. If we want to tell them, like, this is where education comes in again, because a lot of people don't even know the government, like the system.
No, they don't.
They don't know how the system works. There was a video on WhatsApp this week about some school children standing in a flood in the morning assembly ground in the morning in school. They were standing on in a flood. Muddy flood. Yeah, dirty mud. And the caption, the person that posted it in that group that I was, the caption was that, see waiting Buhari they do. So my response was that,
was
my
Buhari
brother,
there?
Exactly. Exactly. My question was that, my brother, it be like say you need to learn government 101 because Buhari na president.
Okay.
And this thing happened for one local government.
Okay.
So what it concern federal with local government?
Okay.
You need to understand how government works. A lot of Nigerians don't even understand the 3 tiers of government or how anything works.
I don't think that's Nigerians too. To also give credit to this big problem, even in the Black or minority community, they don't really understand government. They don't really understand how to engage with government. And just even me being a first generational American, I'll give you guys a quick example on even the most educated person. If you really don't understand the government, and our parents, they came from a privileged way. They didn't really know government, so they can't teach it to us. Do you understand? They don't really engage with the state senator, the governor, the House of Representatives, the local government. They say, I run away from politics. But no, like concrete changes, we could not run away from government. So that's why we have all these hoodlums into politics. So when my mom came here, she got disabled a couple of years ago. They denied her disability. She had a racist, caseworker that was not helping her process her case. She even lost her house and went into foreclosure, because it wasn't working. So somebody was telling me, get a disability lawyer. Lawyers cost thousands of dollars. I was in school then, I just got out of school. So I was actually working as a diplomat in Washington, but my 2 junior ones were in school. So this is like my first real job, So I'm like, okay, so I was like talking to my mom in the lunchroom, and then one Oyinbo girl just came up to me and said, I'm sorry for being nosy, but I heard you talking to your mom, in the lunchroom, and I think I can help. So the first thing I was like, girl, why you all up in my business? You know what I'm saying? Like, typical Black girl. And she was like, look, my husband is a lawyer and he's a diplomat. He works for the Department of Justice. Let's call him. I now called him. He now said, oh, Dad, have I called the senator? And I said, what do you mean? He said, yes, call. What state is your mom in? I said, she's in Illinois. And then he now said, yes, call the senior senator of the state, which is Dick Durbin. Obama was the junior senator in the state before he became president. So to even understand, that there's levels to government. Do you understand? If you want to make impact, you need to roll with the big boys. He said, contact the senator and tell him that this is what has been going on with your mom. When we contacted the senator, he let them know. He's like, tell them that you're a diplomat, you're working for President Obama's, presidential health initiative. Give them your official email and phone number. Do you know I sent the senator an email at 3:00? They called the Social Security, the disability office, that racist coworker that was dealing with my mom's case, that was sitting on it for 2 years. Do you know she called my mom the next day, 8 a.m. That Friday, they gave her a court date to go before the government courts, the judge to renew the case. And do you know they back paid my mom? That they were owing her from the original date. Do you see how God works? Because this small girl came to me. I can never forget how this girl, God will bless her. And she said, look, that many people suffer because, and if I was to go to a disability lawyer, in just 48 hours, my mom's case was solved. By contacting, so we don't even know who to contact. If you ask even a typical person on the street, this is even here in America, who is the senator of your state? They won't know.
I don't know.
But you see, Dr. Tomi, I will come in there a little bit. You see, now that happened because that's a system that works. It's not a perfect system, but the system works, right? Now, imagine the same scenario
in Nigeria.
And you need to now contact the local government chairman of Oredo to talk to him or her about, to talk to them about.
If you don't go Dubai with your girlfriend, go chill. The phone go ring, they no go pick.
What are you talking about? The phone ring? You're not even gonna find the number. Who gonna give you the number?
Exactly.
If you go to their website, and I did that, and I said that's one of the things that we can. You guys that are in IT, one of the things that somebody came up with here, and I said that would be brilliant. So they came up with a map of like a GPS mapping app of all the like government officials, the House of Rep, and then they also did it by gender because. It was actually to celebrate International Women's Day, and it was showing that there's not too many women in government. So they were showing, how many women in the Senate and the House of Reps. But I said that if we have like a holistic app like this, and they have to be held accountable because social media is powerful. So many of our government officials, even LGA chairman, they don't have a website or how to reach them, but they have a social media. If we do a petition, just us, and say, NIDO members, we've come together. Do you understand? Sabi Nation, Wellness and Wahala. Let's put together a petition. Just 100 people, 100 of our members, and we have more than that collectively. But if we just put together 100, and then we now blast them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they go listen. Do you understand? Because one thing Nigerian leaders don't like to be looked bad on. Do you understand? Even if they do rubbish inside Nigeria, they don't like to be a bad light.
They don't like to be put on the spot.
They don't like that in the global. Do you understand? We like to look good. Do you understand? Outside. Do you understand? So if you put them on blast, that's why Inside's campaign that went on social media, they paid them. Do you understand?
It did. Because
globally, I mean, they were getting calls from the American president, the Secretary of State, the Prime Minister, UK. Everybody was putting them on blast. So they had no choice. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we need to do for the next election. We cannot look. Oh, you're in Dubai with your girlfriend. Okay, so you don't want to answer to my request. Okay, y'all, let's put him on blast on social media.
And said Nigerians in Dubai to go and look for him. I said the picture.
Then we need to call us back. This is one of the things that I was shocked about with the senator case with my mom is that when we contacted them, they now followed up with us. Do you understand what I'm saying? They were calling and emailing us. Do you understand? They are there. That's why it's called public servants. Diplomats, these leaders are there. But we as citizens, we need to also hold them accountable. The problem is we have not been holding them accountable. We have let them get away with this nonsense for 61 years.
Too long.
This is not how we started. Nigeria started well. Do you
Very
understand?
well.
Your generation, you talked about how you grew up, and that gets to my next question, you guys. When it talks about, the Nigerian unemployment rate. So the unemployment rate is now up to 33%. And of course, I know we're in the midst of the COVID-19 Wahala pandemic. So that might have been inflated, more because of that.
Yeah.
But because you guys are successful IT people, entrepreneurs, podcasters, like you really have the strategy. You can't just have one trade. Nigerians are good at being jack of many trades. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you have to have multiple streams of income. So what type of strategies do we need to put in place to address the unemployment? Really put the power in our hands. We can't depend on government. It says we the people, we are the government.
Yeah.
You understand? Because we're the ones that put them there. So what can we do? What are some strategies that you all can say on this show to motivate a lot of those young people that that don't have jobs, that don't have a business, that that can't even afford to go to school, but they are very successful businessmen. Bill Gates, that everybody talks about, he dropped out of Harvard. Mark Zuckerberg, he also dropped out of school. He doesn't have a degree, and he's one of the richest billionaires in the world. If he calls the president, they're gonna answer him. You understand what I'm saying? So everybody doesn't have to be a degree. You can be a successful footballer. You can be a successful podcaster. There's podcasters that make millions.
True.
So what can you say to try to motivate these people that are unemployed? Do you understand that saying, government, no, they help me. Tell them how they can help themselves. Over to you.
I will. I'm going to throw just 2 points. I think Femi is going to elaborate on one of the points, which I think is his strong area, because that's not that it's not my strong area, but he talks about that like even in his sleep. Now, the 2 points I'm going to raise are education and entrepreneurship. Now, I use those 2 points because we started a podcast. To start with, we've been thinking about doing something. I've always loved the radio. Femi knows, right from Benin. And when we decided to want to do this podcasting, this is a COVID-19 baby because it's a lockdown baby, the podcast. And we did a lot of research. We just didn't, wake up one morning,
jump into
Maazi,
it.
Right.
Podcast, start talking. No. We did a lot of research, went online on our phones, tablets, computers, whatever, asked people questions, get far, what sort of topic, what are we supposed to be talking about, how do we go about talking about them. We sit down and we write scripts. Yeah, sometimes we sit down and write our script. Sometimes we just flow naturally when it comes. You see, so that aspect, if any young person wants to get themselves out of unemployment, right? Especially in our country, Nigeria, they need to educate themselves, like in everything that they want to do. I'll give another, Mr. Macaroni. We all see the finished product, and we all laugh at his comics. We all laugh at his gestures, the way he does the things, but we do not know the back end of it. We don't know how much he borrowed. We don't know how much he was owing. We don't know who were the people behind the camera. We don't know how he sat down to construct the script for any of his comics. You see, but we enjoy the finished product. See where he is today. He's sitting down and dining with gurus and big guns in the entertainment industry, even in politics, right? Yeah. He wouldn't have been able to get there if he was laid back. He wouldn't have been able to get there if he wasn't focused, if he wasn't hardworking. He knew that this is his line. And before I knew it, I saw him wearing NYC, I was like, oh, this guy is just serving. He still went and served the country.
Yeah.
You understand? So I believe that education and entrepreneurship, these are the two things. Entrepreneurship in the sense that, so let me start by saying, somebody told me many years ago that the essence of going to the university is not just to go in there, come out and start looking for work. That the major plan, this is somebody who went to school in those days, now our papa them time, the 50s, 60s, all those papa them. And he said to me, he said, Chika, for me, the purpose is you go in there, you come out, and you become an employer of labor. You create a company. and you start employing people.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the purpose of the university.
Yes.
You see, so entrepreneurship. So if people decide to want to do something, be it entertainment or otherwise, the government or people, philanthropists, people that have what it takes, should be able to create that platform, create that where they can get some funding. Because one of the major challenge of entrepreneurs or young entrepreneurs is that initial capital. Yes, funding.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them don't understand it. Some of them don't even know where to get it, right? So we need to keep educating. See, with education, everything else will fall in place.
Yeah.
Everything else will fall in place. Right. Femi, I don't know if you want to take up from there.
I always go to education first. Like, I always go to education first. That's just the thing. Like, I can't. When we decided to start our podcast, I took a whole month listening to so many podcasts, both on Spotify and on YouTube, like the ones that do like video podcast and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to not only listening, but I had to read about these people. When did they start? How did they start? What did they do? And all those kind of things. One of the biggest challenges I have with people trying to get out of unemployment or trying to do something is that, number one, people want to do things because other people are doing it and making money.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the big challenges. Then number two, they want to do things and make money quickly.
Yeah.
You know, that's number two. So, but if you, when you are unemployed, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself that question: what can I even do? Yeah, what can I do? Or like, what is it that I love to do? Or what is it that I'm passionate about? Or what is it that I feel like I wouldn't need so much, to get started, That's the first thing. Once you can find yourself, then the next thing you need to educate yourself on whatever it is that you decide to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be what somebody else is doing. But if you find yourself and see that, I think I like to do these things and I think I can do this, then find a way to, how can I get it to be sustainable? It's not something that I want to do today and throw it away tomorrow. And then I think my second point outside the education part is persistence. And that's one thing I've noticed too. People start stuff, and when it pinches their leg, small pinch for leg like this, they don't give up.
So, boy, I don't do it again.
I don't tire.
No, I don't tire.
Yeah. So you have to be persistent. Like Maazi and I would, I can call Maazi. Oh boy, man, we need to talk about this thing. Then we say, okay, when we talk. It could be 12 midnight his time. It could be 3 a.m. my time. It doesn't matter. We just get up and let's do it. We just do it immediately, You have to be persistent. You have to be ready to put the work into it.
Dr. Tony,
you have to be ready.
You are where you are today because you put in the work.
You got to.
You understand? Exactly. So, and
it's not the work, it's not the night.
A lot of work. A lot of work. Yeah, a lot of work. And imagine if you hadn't done that. You understand? You and I bet you and I won't be here talking today. I went through your podcast and I was amazed at some of the topics I listened to. I was amazed at the number.
I'm jealous.
I was amazed at the number of episodes that you have. And I was like, Femo, I'm gonna be 50 at this, so this guy they sleep so.
Should I sleep?
I know. So I always tell people we need to give credit to who credit is due. So you said something.
Yeah.
You do your research and training. So one of my friends, she's actually she was my junior in college. I was the founder of the African Student Union. So I've always been like an Afro optimist. So we went to a predominantly white school, University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana, and they had student union and Latino and all these other, but we didn't have African. So anyway, she was part of the African Student Union. Now she's a famous like writer and blogger. And influencer. Her name is Lovey Ajayi, and she has.
Oh, I know Lovey.
Yes.
Oh, I love Lovey. Oh.
So two famous podcasts. So she has one with Yvonne Orji, who was.
I know Yvonne as well. Yeah.
Actress. And she also studied public health, but then later got into acting and comedy. So they have a podcast called Jesus and Jollof, and then she has her own podcast called Professional Troublemaker. um, um, actually named after her second book, and she's doing quite well. So she actually did a training. So she did a free Google PRX training. Her and another top podcaster on YouTube. So I actually, watched the training about how do you start a. That's how I knew about like Anchor and other apps. How do you get your recording equipment? How do you edit? How do you raise funding? How do you market? So, salute to her. But it goes back to what you guys are saying, that, education is key. You have to educate yourself. You said entrepreneurship, but you guys forgot the last E, which I think that you guys do very well with Sabi Nation, because I listened to a lot of your podcasts. I was highly impressed. And the last E I would say is entertainment. Nigeria the top. When you talk about Nollywood, like look at our movies on Netflix, like when you're talking about influencers, entertainment is key, and podcasters, host and development content. This is entertainment.
True.
And entertainment, Nigerians do very well. And then you put it on top of it, entrepreneurship. I mean, we the best. You know what I'm saying?
We are.
So I think with those 3 E's, we can really like tackle, the unemployment challenges there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we can. I remember very quickly. Let me just say this very quickly, Dr. Tomi. I remember growing up in Benin. Femi can attest to this. We used to have what we call technical colleges. Now, most of the people that went to those technical colleges didn't need to go to universities or polytechnics, right? They go to those technical colleges to learn something. It could be some sort of a trade. It could be sewing, it could be woodwork, it could be metal work, it could be a lot of things. And when they finish, right, you see them opening their shops. You see, then the ones that want to take it further, they're the ones that are more into academics, will now decide to say, you know what, I'm going to write the exams to get me into the university to study education. Education. You understand? So, but now, as I can tell you categorically, Dr. Tomi, those technical colleges they don't exist anymore. They used to have Benin Technical College.
Yes.
That was the biggest in the whole of Benin.
They tried to revive it some time ago. I'm not sure if it's...
You understand? People used to, when they write their senior, when they school, primary school, to get into secondary school, sometimes when you speak to some of your friends then when we're in primary school, Mama, I want to go Benin Tech, man. At Benin Tech, I want to go learn, I want to go learn this, I want to go learn woodwork, I want to go learn that. You understand? They have those opportunities here in the West. They have them in the United States. People go into technical colleges just to learn something.
Yes.
You understand? I, as an employment coach, I do a lot of coaching to help people get back into work here in the where I live in the UK. And I met somebody who I said, let me have a look at your CV and see what you've done. This guy has never been to university. This guy, the only thing he has is a GCSE. But you need to see his CV. Engineering that, technical that, this, that. I was like, man, bro, your CV is tight.
Right.
He has a bit of some sort of learning difficulty, but when he's hands-on, he's good. So immediately I was able to coach him and help him. As I'm talking to you, he has an interview on Friday.
You see?
Because somebody saw that CV and were like, no, I'm not going to let you go. You understand? So that is something that we need to bring back. The educational system in that country, the curriculum, everything needs to change. It shouldn't be narrow-minded. It shouldn't be one way. Hey, go to school, then go to university, go and do. No, don't study medicine. No. If a child has a talent and we see the potential in that talent, let's harness it and let's groom that child to become better, to become a Nigerian brand. That is where I'll leave it today.
Made in Nigeria. And
made in Nigeria.
Why I'm happy for the Nigerian Diaspora Organization, because it brings together experts like you all over the world. We're tuning in from US, from UK, and it's really important to bring all the different skills and technical skills. You don't have to, have plenty degrees, to be successful.
No, you don't.
Love, like one of the things
excuse me,
I always said was like, find what you love, even if it's just hair making. There's some hairdressers that make money. Do you understand? Do you understand? They make money. They drive better cars than me. Do you? And they live in a So when they be hailing me out, doctor, I be hailing them. No, you're my old
No.
girl.
Yes.
So, we say careful. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a mindset shift. Like what you're talking about is education, but it's also educating ourselves, our minds. To say
Our
that
mind.
you don't have to take the traditional path that everybody else takes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And whatever
Yes.
you want to do, whether it's technical skills, whether it's sports, some people would say, this boy, he's always kicking the ball. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Footballers, in 1 month, their salary, I have to work like 10 years to get. I think I will make that. You understand? So
Yeah.
you should, we need to also encourage, just like you said earlier, empowerment, encourage, these skills in our community. So we'll end on, I want you guys to let us know, your vision for Sabi Nation and how people can really get in touch with you all. You talked about it. It's about staying woke. And, this is really a community. And I'm happy, once again, this is launched on Nido Radio, which can be accessed all over the world. But how, can people get in touch with you? How can they listen to Sabi Nation? And, and what are some of your sneak peek, programs that are coming up? Over to you.
Yeah, you can get our podcast on husapodcast.com. How Nasiam podcast. So HUSA podcast.com. HUSApodcast.com. One word. And then our Sabi Nation on the beat. Our Sabi Nation on the beat. On Nido Radio. You can listen on Nido Radio. It's an internet radio. You can listen 24 hours all over the world. Our program comes up at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time. We also have sabination.com website, still under construction, but should be ready by next week. So if you go to sabination.com, you get all the information you need about Sabi Nation.
Also, just to add to that, we are on every social media platform. So How Does Siam podcast is on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and every other platform that you listen to podcasts, Spotify and the rest of them. You can find us there as well.
And sneak peek, a few topics that we are working on, before the end of our season 2. We have abortion as a topic. We're talking about abortion, removing all the lies and just giving you the straight fact of abortion in America and how it affects decision making on abortion in the rest of the world. We're also talking about social constructs. We're just talking about how the society brainwashes us to be who we are and to stay where we are. And then we're also talking about corporate cheating. This is a trend of people schooling abroad and people in some India, Africa, writing their exam thesis and text for them while they pretend to actually be schooling here in India abroad. So we are also talking about that. And interviews that we are looking forward to be Ali Baba and Abike Dabiri soon.
Nice. We look forward. So everybody, please follow Sabi Nation. Thank you, Maazi and Femi, for being on the Wellness and Wahala podcast. I would like to leave you all with the Wellness Wahala African proverb of the week. It's coming from Kenya. It says, "Peace is costly, but it is well worth its price."
True.
Peace is costly, but it's well worth its price. So to really redeem the giants of Africa, Nigeria, and just the African continent, we have to, cause a lot of good wahala. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
It's going to cost a price, even when, NSARS campaign and a lot of revolutions campaign is a big price that people pay with their time and some, have to lay down their life. But we're really willing to make those changes. It's a big price, but we want to make Nigeria better, for our children, children. We cannot leave Nigeria the way it is. So
Yeah.
as you said, it was good when you were growing up. It should be better. It should not go from good and then to worse. It should
Yeah.
good, better, best. You understand?
Yes.
True.
Yes.
True.
Thank you all. Do you have
Thank
any
you.
words for the audience? Over to you, Femi and Maazi.
Maazi.
My people, make una stay safe. They make una they listen to my sister Dr. Tomi for Wellness and Wahala for all the podcast platforms which they one love.
Yes. So.
Yes, my people, thank you very much, and thank you, Dr. Tomi, for letting us come have a chat with you on your platform, and let's work together to revive Nigeria, because once Nigeria is great again, the whole of Africa will be great.
Yes.
So once we revive Nigeria, the whole of Africa will follow. So let's do it, and I know we can. And like you said, it's not 5 years, it's not 10 years, it's now.
Now.
The time to unite. So I'm happy, that all of us have come together, and I think that this is the beginning of great things to happen for our people and for our nation. So I wish you all no wahala this week and this season. Bless up.
Bless.
Thank you.